That was quick. Good night, good night. So this reading, or not this reading, oh my god, I'm gonna be doing readings, Lord. This live that I'm gonna do, so I do lives now pretty frequently, and I kind of talk about what I've been through in the past year. This one is very interesting. If you have some time to sit around and listen, I very much suggest that you do, because I think it's things that people, I know it's stuff that people do not understand and they have no idea what's going on. So, I always leave links to my YouTube in my stories, so you can check out old videos that I've made, just talking about my story in the last 2 years of what's happened. Now, I think, sorry, my hat's catchy, like casting shadows. I think a lot of people know what's happened to me because so many people have been involved, to be honest. I think anybody who's been to my store, a lot of people who've been to my store know what's happened. I just think that people don't understand what they've been a part of 100%. I think that the people who know really what's happened are a much, much smaller group that have influenced a larger group. So I took my time and I was like, I'm going to talk about it tonight. Now, before I go into this, I just want you guys to know that I'm taking my life into my own hands by even talking about this, because I've never seen anything about this. So I had to learn about this. Yeah, I've had to learn. I'll tell you a bit more. I've had to learn about what happened on the spiritual side by me going through it and withstanding it. So for everybody that's just joining the live, I'm going to give you guys a brief background. I was basically gang stalked for a year. Like, a whole bunch of different people came into the store, came around my house, followed me around. I was hacked for a whole year. It was abusive. There was also a spiritual element to it. So when I was reporting it to the police, they were saying to me, they were like, listen, why would they be so eager just to get you? Like, when there are other people who would do this voluntarily. And that was always the question. And I was like, I have no idea. I don't know what's so special about me. And then it clicked. It's been clicking from yesterday. The pieces have been coming together. So, this is what happens. Somebody gets a contract on your head, or not just you. Forget it. I'm going to talk about from what happened with me so that it makes sense. I'm not going to make it general yet. I'll do that as a part 2. With what happened with me. I meet a guy. He belongs to them. Now, this live is spiritual, so this is the spiritual part of it, okay? I meet a guy. He belongs to them. And their job is to break me and him up. Because as soon as those people start thinking about love, then they don't want to do what they're doing anymore. Like, it just naturally happens. When someone falls in love, when a man falls in love, he starts thinking about kids, family, marriage, and he starts thinking like, what I'm doing is dangerous. What I'm doing is not sustainable. Like, any day something can happen. So he wants to pull away. So what they've learned is we have to keep these guys away from falling in love. So I meet my ex. My ex starts falling in love with me. And of course, in the whole time we were together, he never traveled. He never did anything. So that in itself raised red flags. Remember, he's making money not just for himself, he's making money for other people as well. So people, by him not traveling, he's losing money for other people. That's a problem. People set up their lifestyles, and not just their lifestyles is coming out of this. It's not just this is the house that I pay for. This is my fancy cars. There's other people to pay for. There's hackers. There's people to monitor your bank accounts. There's people at the cell phone and telecommunications companies. The security guards we have to pay to let us into your building. All of this stuff has to happen. So we need you to work. So they got rid of me, and that was good and well enough, right? Now, usually, in order to get rid of a girl, they will do certain things. So another guy with money is going to approach her. And you know how it is, especially right now. It is what it is. A spade's a spade. So a guy, I'm giving you as an example. A guy approaches her. This guy flashes, oh, I have a cottage. Oh, I'm this. Oh, I'm that. He gets her into the traveling thing too. Now she's working too. But separately, they're separate. Their hearts are broken because they put it in his face. Oh, this girl cheated on you in the relationship. Here's the people that she dated. And sometimes they pass the girl around first. It's not just one guy who she falls in love with. Like, they might pass her around. They have to get evidence of her, that she's cheated, that she's whatever. Because remember, this is a girl who the guy fell in love with, who started opening up his heart, making him a better version of a man, which makes him a harder man to control. Because then he starts thinking about his kids and his family. Not so much women ain't, shit and this and that. He's thinking of his family. So, stay with me. They turn the girl into, all of a sudden, it's like these loose friends start coming around. They always want you to party. They want you to drink. They want you to do this. They're looking for what bad habits you have. They need to break this guy's heart, get him back in position, get him back on the track, get him back to work. My situation, it didn't happen. I am a hermit. I work hard. They tried everything. They tried to tell him I'm a gold digger, I'm this and I'm that. These things can't work because I hustle so hard and I have all of my own things. So from the outside, they thought to myself, right when this was happening was when I just moved into like what I would have considered my dream home. Beautiful house, corner lot, large, prime location to me. I know there's better locations in the world, but I had worked hard for this. Twig by twig, like a bird, I put that nest together. Okay? So they must have thought in their head that this girl is doing this because this guy's gonna come and pay for the house. So we're gonna snatch the guy away, and then she's gonna be on the hook to pay for this house. Listen to this. She's gonna be on the hook to pay for this house, and he's not gonna be there, which means she's gonna be in a financial situation where she's gonna need to make a lot of money very quickly. And here we're gonna swoop in, and we're gonna get her on the plane, and we're gonna get her traveling. I could tell you guys, if I tell you what my mortgage was, 5 figures, 5 digits, 5 figures. Okay? 5. It was a lot. I was working 7 days a week, 12-hour days. I was busting my ass, but I was making it comfortably. I was making whatever I needed to make. They didn't like that. That wasn't good enough for them. So they started sending people to my store. They started destroying my reputation, creating fake beef between me and other boutiques. If I'm in Vaughan Mills, what the hell do I care about somebody who's in an abandoned building with their boutique for? And there's nothing wrong with that because I came from that. I built Can Boutique from abandoned buildings, same situation. But I am in a different phase of my life now. I am unconcerned about that. And I don't have time. I have the watchful eyes of the mall on me. Like, my marketing needs to really step up. I need to invest. I need to fix. I need a website. I need all of this, right? Anyway, let's fast forward. I'm holding my own. A lot of drama keeps coming to me. A lot of problems keep coming to me, but I'm still holding my own and I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing as far as like taking care of business and taking care of myself. Me and him are separate. They keep sending people to be fake friends and be fake lovers and all of this stuff. And after a while, I'm thinking to myself, like, why are they going so hard? And this is why. And it all makes sense. Everybody has heard the term married to the game. They talk about it in hip hop. I've talked about it in a bunch of lives as well. I got into tarot. Let me show you what the devil card looks like. Look at this. That's the devil. And do you see those things with the chains on it? Do you see those people with the chains around their neck? That's what married to the game looks like spiritually. So you come in, they sort of play on the lowest aspects of you as a person. So your trauma, the things that have broken your heart. And for most men, it's whatever heartbreak they've gone through with women. They try to keep you in the lowest vibration that they could keep you in. Spiritually, they marry you to the game. Spiritually. So, I don't know the ritual myself, but it's like they put 2 candles on an altar and they marry them together. Probably with your pictures. You, the individual, you get married to your handler, the person who's going to make money off of you, the chief recruiter, let's call it. This is the person, and a spiritualist will do it. So this is the person who's going to make the money off of you. Now, say you were supposed to be an actress in your life. And you are supposed to make $6 billion over your lifetime. They've already read that in the cards. They already know that. This is what you're supposed to be making. Okay? When you marry the game now, they take that destiny from you and they replace it. So now we'll give you, I don't know, $10,000 a month. $20,000 a month, $30,000 a month. But had you taken your time and had you grown your gift as an actress, you would have made your $6 billion over your lifetime. You would have actualized your gifts. But without your permission, they almost marry you to this thing, and the only way out of it is death. The only way out of it is death. Here's the thing about it that I didn't realize. I thought that this guy, the guy who was recruiting me, there's so much to explain. I feel like one of those people, I just put this together. I thought he could just walk away, but he can't walk away from me. I couldn't walk away from the situation because I was so-called married to, but he can't walk away either because he's binded to that contract. So he cannot get me in. And the only way to get out of it is if one of us dies. He's not going to kill himself, so it's going to have to be me. It's going to have to, I literally mean that. Somebody needs to die to get out of that contract. It's like, you know, another contract I saw like that was a military contract where they would give infantry soldiers before war these contracts where they couldn't get out of it. You could die on the battlefield and that's it, because they know that you're not going to want to go to war when it's time to go to war. So guys used to try to plead insanity. They used to break the law, and it was like the military would just come and get them out of the police station, and they would go to their own court with the military. They were not going to go to civilian court. You had to die out of the contract. This is why it is so difficult to get out of that stuff. So they couldn't kill me. They couldn't kill me. And did they freaking try? They've tried many times. You guys don't understand. This is crazy stuff. Like, anyway, I'll save the other stuff of examples of what's happened for another video because I want to get through this. I want to stay on topic. So, you're married to the game. the other person's still married to you as well. Now, the problem with this situation, in his particular situation, is he's made agreements to bring me in, and he can't do that. So it's more than just owing money or not owing money. He's stuck to this contract. He's stuck to it, and I'm still alive. If I find true love while in the contract with him, he dies. Because he did the ritual. He dies. That is why every time somebody finds true love in these contracts, they work so hard to get rid of the other person. They've stolen your destiny. They've spent the money already. This is how it works. You're the actress. You're supposed to get 6 billion. Now, all of a sudden, you're working for them. You're married to them. The money still comes to you in a different way, but they take it. Their empire blows up. Their networks blow up. Their connections blow up. They get bigger. So they go out strategically looking for people who have destinies that are very rich. Don't believe me? Africans talk about this all the time. Stealing people's destinies. Or somebody using somebody's destiny before they have a chance to do it. They don't need to physically be with you, sleep with you, or be in a relationship with you. Like, you could be married to an institution. You could be married to them as a mother. Like, they could be a mother figure or a father figure. It doesn't have to be a wife. Stick with me. Now, this leads me into the other thing that I wanted to talk about. There were rumors going around, because they couldn't get rid of me, there were rumors going around that I was a dark witch because they used black magic to do this stuff. Obviously. Let me tell you something. People that are in the drug game, they have issues with, like, I'm not talking about like on the streets. I'm talking about on the plains, okay? They have fertility issues. All of them. They can't just have kids. They have fertility issues. On top of having fertility issues, they never meet a spouse. They're never married. And if they are with someone, it's not a marriage. They're just cohabiting to get, like, they're living together and they're having a child, but it's not, that person they're with has to be on the same thing that they're on. That person has to be in the same lifestyle. They have to be on the same vibrational level, the same mindset. There's no such thing as you're going to get a good high vibrational partner and be happy in love. People are going to be cheating. People are going to be bringing diseases in the it's going to be unhappy. It's going to be chaotic because eventually they're going to separate. They're going to have kids. They're going to separate. This is how it's established. They don't trust each other 100%. So there can never be enough unity to leave. That's the same thing that happens to the black community. It's spell work. Anyway, moving forward. So they were saying that I was a dark witch. And I understand why. Because so much energy was sent my way. So much dark magic was sent my way. If I even tell you guys about the kind of stuff that was happening, it's beyond saying that, oh, it's just coincidence. Oh, it's just crazy stuff. I'll save that for a part 2. I will save it for a part 2. But anyway, so all of this is happening. All of this is going on. And, you know, the first couple times things started happening very, very early on. The first couple times what was happening is work would come my way. And, you know, I'd have to send that back. Like, that's not my energy. I return that energy, blah, blah, blah. But then it's like, so much energy is coming at the same time, and all of it's different. It's all different energy. It's not even the same type of work, and there's so much different kinds of work. Not just that, but where it's coming from, there's different energy signatures on it. Everybody has a spiritual energy signature. Just like, it's like how would I describe it to you guys? Like an aura. It's like an aura, and it changes just like you change. You're not just, when we see each other, we see like the same face, But spiritually, you're different all the time. You go up and down the ladder from karmic to divine. It's like a scale. You go up and down. You shift around depending on where you are emotionally, depending on where you are mentally, depending on where you are in life. You shift around. So when energy signatures come, sometimes I know it's like the same person, but things are different. They're different now. Some things happen to them, or they're in a different state. Like, are they in a state of anxiety? Are they in a state of confidence? Are they in a tyrant energy? Like, you can feel it, you can tell. Anyway, there's so much energy coming at me all at once that I would literally have to make a full-time job of it to try to get all of that energy off of me and out of my space. So here's I can't believe it's only 20 minutes. Thank God. I thought this video would be 2 hours. I think I'm going to get it in the time I want. This is what ends up happening. Let's go back to the tarot card with the devil. Consider the devil the person who convinced you to sign up for this. Whoever convinced you to sign up, whoever approached you, whoever is controlling them at the top, that's the devil. The spiritualist, or the person who paid the spiritualist, wherever they are. They may not be in Canada even. That's the devil. And that's you with the chain around your neck. How do you get this chain? Just by freaking agreeing to do anything. Hey, can you go watch that girl's live? Hey, can you go to her store and go be friends with her? Hey, can you do this? Hey, can you do that? That's all you have to do to be chained to that situation. Spiritually, to be attached to it. Spiritually. And what happens, it moves as a unit. It's one. It's one body. So, if it's sick, everybody's sick. If it's strong, I want to say everybody's strong, but maybe not to the same degree. But yes, everybody should be eating the same. If it's fair. I don't know how they run their operation. If it's alive, everybody's alive. If it dies, everybody dies. But the problem with it is you're binded to something spiritually that you have no control over. You don't have control over what they're doing up there. So it depends on how the leadership is moving, depends on the health of the organization. Now, everybody in Toronto is sitting back and wondering why their ish is falling apart. It's because of poor management of the leadership has led to the destruction of the entire unit. I'll show you what I mean by that. So, I don't know whoever's watching this video. I have to address more than whoever's in the video because I'm going to be putting it on YouTube. And so, I don't know who's going to be, the world is going to be watching it. I don't know if you guys ever, or if anybody reads tarot. A lot of people consider tarot to be of the devil. But tarot is just a way of like communication is what I consider it. It's just a way of determining like what's going on. You understand? All right. I already showed you guys the devil card. That's from tarot. Let me show you what was happening in this situation. All right. I'm only going to use the swords. The swords are minor arcana. So they're minor cards. The devil is a major arcana. So this is how I started this situation. The Three of Swords. Heartbreak. Three of Swords usually indicates like a third party situation. So you have a relationship and there's another person in there that comes in that breaks it up. That's heartache, right? I've spent the bulk of the year as a knight fighting off attacks the entire year. I don't know why this is showing blue. Fighting off attacks the entire year. That's what the knight does, okay? Slicing through problems. When I started picking up, well, I was picking up on what was going on the entire time, but when I started getting to the point where it was like, I'm not taking stupid friendships, I don't have patience with anybody, I'm cutting people off, I was in the Queen of Swords energy, okay? That is basically the energy of you've been to war and you've survived. And everybody thinks when you go to war and you survived, you know, you get your medal, you get your cape. But you know sorrow, you know loss, you know pain, and you've been disillusioned. I've been disillusioned about human beings. I used to be a very innocent-minded person, very sheltered. Once you get into a Queen of Swords energy where you're able to cut people off like that, that is because you are now in a space where you understand human beings, you understand battle. And let me tell you, when you come out of a war, especially this type of a situation, you come out of these situations like that, like as the winner, you're missing limbs. Everybody else is dead. You're missing limbs and you won. That's why you really have to think before you go to war with people. Am I willing to miss limbs? Because you don't go to war and then call a truce. You don't go to war and come apologize. You're going to get your head slit off your... You don't go to war and now you have to call for help. You have to think it through. People that are willing to go to war too, don't go to war to apologize. People that are willing to go to war because they're willing to die about whatever it is that they're going to war for. So if you know you're scared of dying, you're not supposed to go to war. This is why I have a goddamn problem with people trying to come and apologize to me. We are at war. So, this is where I am right now. King of Swords. Do you know what King of Swords is? That's the victor. That's the person who won. Now it's time for justice. The King of Swords, the king hands out justice. The king decides the punishment. The king decides the punishment. Because as the king, you're gathering, what do you call it? Captives. You're gathering prisoners. You're making them slaves in your country. They are second-class citizens to your citizens. That's what it's about. That's the energy that they thought they would be in. Do you know the energy they wanted me in? They wanted me in this right here. This is the Six of Swords. Every sword represents an issue, a problem. One could be sickness. One could be bankruptcy. Every sword represents a problem. And the reason they want to put all these swords up is because the more swords that are in your back, the more difficult it is for you to get up. So in this energy, for me to have to sail to calmer waters, do you see that? Do you see her head bowed down? The calmer waters would have been getting on the plane. If I didn't get into this, they would have wanted me into this. The 10 of Swords. Do you see this person with all the swords in their back? Dead. The 10. That's where... It was like, these were the two options that they wanted for me. I'm either going to get a 6 or a 10. One of the two. And at that point, he didn't care which one. Because, you see, the thing is, if I resist, he doesn't get the money for my contract. He doesn't get that money. He doesn't get that big money coming in. So, he might as well, he's going to need me dead one way or the other because he's going to need to get out of the spiritual contract. But you guys that helped, the people that helped, this is you. Do you see that? Do you see the blindfold? The two swords in the hand make you think that you're in control, make you think that you know what's going on. But do you see that blindfold? You have no idea that you're showing up like this in the astral, like this, with a blindfold, with a chain around your neck. Because whatever they say goes. You have to do what they say. But you don't know the real reason behind what you're doing. You don't know the spiritual ramifications. You're just seeing things occur in your life, and whatever's occurring in your life is just happening, and you don't know why. Let me use the cards to show you. So I showed you guys your energy. I showed you my energy. Let me show you what's actually been happening from management's point of view. The poor management that landed you guys in a situation where I'm still alive a year later and everything is looking crazy. Let me show you. They started off like this. This was bullshit from the beginning. They started off, how many swords? This is 5, I assume. 2, 4. Nope, this is 2, 4, 6, 7. Nope, this is the wrong card. This is not the card that I want. There's a 5 of swords. I don't have it out here. They started off, I should probably get it if I show you. Anyway, the 5s symbolize towers, which are chaos, which is things falling apart. Arguments. They started off in the 5s. In numerology, 5 signify change, but it usually feels like chaos. They started off knowing that there were backfires coming from day 1. He knew that. As soon as I broke up with my ex, he broke up with his wife. She got rid of him in the coldest way I've ever experienced anybody get rid of a man. Like, just discarded this man. You imagine you have a kid with someone and you give them the kid too? Y'all have 2 kids. You keep one and you give him one and you go dump him in a place. You don't help buy no furniture. You are not present. You're always working late. I'm a personal trainer and I'm training people till 1 o'clock in the morning. You're not there for any family activities. You've checked out. Mentally, you're out of there. Your physical body might be in that house, but you're out. This is what was going on from day 1. I want to say at a certain point, I'm positive at a certain point that they started arguing amongst themselves and they're like, listen, we need to back out of this because this is not working out. What they should have done is done this. Accept whatever problems there were and reverse back out of the situation. Get out of it while you can. Do you see this? What is it? 6 swords. Let me make sure. 2, 4, 6. 6 swords. 6. You see, when it starts going up, it gets a little bit crazy. The 7. 7 is when your ancestors, when God, when the spirit world starts sending, because you didn't understand bullets, so now they start launching something a little bit heavier. Do you see people on the floor in the background, swords still left in the ground? This is when people could have walked away and should have walked away, and they didn't. Then they got up to the 8s. Our great leader got up to the 8s. This is when he went from the magic he knew to some shit he didn't know about. Getting hella creative with stuff he didn't understand. Do you see the blindfold on it? Do you see it binded? Do you see that blood? That's when you go do things that you're not supposed to do. So you're doing divination and you're listening to people's prayers and you start thinking, wait, what kind of relationship does this person have to God? I was gonna call this dark magic, dark witch, white witch, and God's favor. And I was going to explain the 3 to you guys, because people seem to think just because I have a knowledge of spirituality, that's what I dabble in. I'll explain why you cannot be dabbling in that kind of stuff if you want to get justice in your life later. Maybe it'll be a part 2 or a part 3, but let's stay here. This is where he was at. This is when you guys started seeing RCMP was announcing that they were taking planes out of the sky and busing people left, right, and center. How the hell they bus you in a private jet? This is not even commercial. How they find you in a private jet? Now everybody's in the comments like, somebody snitched, somebody snitched. All around him, he was seeing bloodshed. But that ego was crazy. Ego was out of control. Didn't care what was happening around him, because in his mind, if he brings me down and he takes me down, then all of it's gonna stop. Thank God he didn't take me down. Thank God for you guys, for him, for everybody. Thank God. It would have been worse, faster. Let's continue. That's the 8. Do you see these 9 swords? That's when all of management started to look like this. Do you know why? Everybody in Toronto started getting involved. Y'all ever see somebody commit a crime and the whole city had a hand? When they start laying charges, they don't have enough space in the jail for everybody. They're going to cut deals with whoever they could cut deals with that are going to testify, come up in the court looking extra fly. That's when they start thinking, shit, what the hell are we doing here exactly? Shit's getting kind of loud. This girl's making reports. People are backing out. Let me tell you about the stuff that was going on my street. Cars would just flip over. Rows of housing. Every time you guys go on the news and these blogs and you see all these houses burned down, not to the studs. The studs burned down. The foundation burned down. It burned to the ground. People are like, oh, was it like a windy day? Was it a whatever? I'm like, no, it was a normal day. It burnt down to the ground. You should see the smoke in the sky, the visions from the helicopter. It was so crazy. It was like literally watching hell. Craziness has been happening on that street. People don't even want to come in the neighborhood. Let me give you all a little story just because I'm here. Actually, let me save that story. That story's coming. People's money start getting crazy. Management starts getting affected. Okay? Sickness, major illnesses are falling on people. What have I done? Because it feels like I opened up a curse. I would say this is where you guys are right now. 9. I would say that's where everybody is right now. Not just everybody in management, not just the outer circle, not just the bigger circle bigger than that. I'm saying everybody because it's an attachment. Why? It's all attached to the same thing. It's reversed even. It's all attached to the same thing. Do you see those chains? Everybody has an invisible chain around their neck that participated in any way, shape, or form. Do you see how that works? Do you see how that works? Now, let's talk about the fact where they were saying it's me who's the dark witch when everybody was getting sick and all of that. See all these 9 swords right here? Every one of these swords was a different problem meant for me. 1 sword, isolation. 2, depression. 3, suicide. 4, bankruptcy. 5, cancer. 6, lose a home. 7, demonic possession. Do you know what started happening? Because too much energy was coming all at once. It's too much energy to disperse, to send back to sender. Do you know what the curse looks like? Imagine, for a second, everybody who's under this chain comes under a master dome. A dome, a big clear covering that encompasses everybody spiritually. All the energy that is sent out hits the top of the dome and starts ricocheting inside like bullets. All the energy, every sword that was meant for me hits the top of the dome, doesn't even come my way, doesn't affect me, hits the top of the dome and starts ricocheting back. So you will say, in a return to sender, somebody sends you something, you send it back. Because it's their energy and it's on their energy signature, it's almost like their coordinates are written on it like a missile, and it doesn't miss. And it keeps going until it lands. If it missed you today, so let's say it's unaliving. It missed you today, your car flipped over on the highway, but you survived. Tomorrow it comes back, the house sets on fire. The next day, a bullet misses your head. This is every day now. You're living like that. It has your coordinates on it. It will find you and it will land That's if you're lucky it happens like that. That's if you know what you're doing and you're trying to clean it off. That's if you know. Most people don't know a goddamn thing, so it just hits, boop, dead, done, right? That is if you return things back to people, if you return them back their energy. But when you're under the dome, there's no such thing as a coordinate. Whoever it hits, it hits. So if it misses management, who knows how to clean themselves, it's going to catch your kid. It's going to catch his cousin. It's going to catch you. Because you are part of the team. You're part of the team. You're under the dome. That is the reason why everybody's ish is real crazy right now. This right here. Okay, follow along. So, what people are experiencing is their own energy. It's the energy that the management put out that they're blaming me and saying that I did it. But I'm getting justice because everybody's stressed out except for me. Everybody's stressed out except for me. I have maintained and I'll continue to maintain that I don't do black magic and I don't raise my hand. Now, let me explain to everybody the difference, a high level overview of a dark witch, a white witch, which most people don't know about, and God's favor. Dark witch, we all know what it is. Those are people that raise their hand to other people. Those are people that and anybody could do that. That takes no skill, no calling, no nothing. Anybody can do that. You literally just need to learn how to cook up some stuff. Here's a recipe, follow these ingredients, go to this person. But what it does is it uses energy out of you. It uses your purity, your pure energy. Your pure energy, most people, it's not infinite. So it keeps reducing it all the time because you're doing dirty things. And then you come to a point like these people in this cult who are after me, the gang stalkers in Toronto, who do this work, who outsource for these other networks, where nobody there has good energy to manifest. Dark witches can only destroy. They cannot build. To build, you need a connection with God. You need positive energy. This is a rule. So what they do, they find people like you and they use your good energy to manifest their new beginnings. That's why they marry you to them, so you cannot leave. That's why your life starts falling apart, because they're zapping your energy, they're using your good luck. Spiritually, this is what's happening. They are using your destiny, your luck, your good fortune. They're taking it for themselves, leaving you with nothing, depleting you. And then you continue to work like a slave. Some people are zombies. You meet some people in Toronto, there's nothing behind their eyes. Like they're not in control of that ship anymore. So, this is what's occurring. This is dark witches. Dark people that use dark magic. They cannot build anything. They cannot create anything. They need to copy from people. They need to steal. So the way that they create, if you will, is they knock other people down. They take from people and they steal it for themselves. You go into what is a white witch. White witches do not raise their hands to people. White witches will heal. White witches use positive energy and intention. They still use magic, but it's a different brand. And they still fight, but they don't use their own energy. What they'll do is they'll use your energy. So usually the dark shit you said to them, they send that right back to you. Whatever games you're playing, they reflect it back to you. They keep their hands clean in whatever it is they're doing, but they still use magic to some degree. Some people are into the elements, so they plant. They use the moon, they use, energy, whatever it is. I'm not that. So I'm not super, versed in like how it works. Even with white witchery, I don't know how it works. I don't know spells. There's certain customs, that have been passed down to us, but I don't think it's as deep as like other people and other things I see online. But again, I support everybody in whatever they want to do, because at least you're tapping into the spirit world. At least you're acknowledging that it's there. I don't support the dark witchery because it's like you're raising your hands to people, you're hurting people, and usually, you know, they're cowards. They do it behind your back. They throw those rocks and they don't want you to know it's them. They work on you at night when you're sleeping. They cloak themselves so you don't know it's them. They do all of this stuff to get away with it because they would not want to engage you one-on-one, because you get into a spiritual war with somebody one-on-one. I just explained what war looks like. You guys are tearing each other down. You throw magic today, they throw magic tomorrow. You go to a graveyard, they go to 2 graveyards. Now they're going to 3 different now they're waking up entity. This is what this guy thought was happening as his energy was being thrown back. He thought that I was doing all of this extra stuff and that it was a fight, that it was a war. So what does he go to do? I'm going to make it a part 2 because if you know what, I'll tell you, but I'll tell you at the end of this. Let me go to the last point, because I said dark witch, white witch, God's favor. God's favor is where I stand. And that is not a joke. That is not a joke. Prayer, a lot of it. I know people don't believe in prayer, but let me put it to you this way. When you start feeling, and it's not about Christianity or not Christianity, it's not about any of that, it's spirituality in general. And whoever you subscribe, some people subscribe to like Indian gods or Buddhism or whatever it is. It doesn't matter. Christianity, it doesn't matter. I tell you like clockwork. They don't want you to pray no matter who you're praying to. You start praying, they start doing everything to discourage you because prayer is real. They try to have a hierarchy of like spell work up here, prayer down here. No, it's all the same. It's on the same level. It's on the same level. It is all the same. You could go to sleep with prayer on your laptop to stop people from working on you overnight, because people will be working on you overnight. You think you have to be in their good graces for them not to work on you? Remember, you are a means of making money. You are a tool of bringing in money. They're going to work on you regardless. They need you in a low vibration to control you. Because what they're using to control you, the entities they're using to control you, need you in a low vibration. They feed off of your fear. They feed off your anxiety. They feed off of all of that. I don't fear them. So no entity can come here. There's nothing to feed off of. There's nothing to feed off of. When people are being gang stalked, they're producing a high amount of fear. When people are very lusty, in a very lusty energy, they send some incubus, succubus energy demons to attach to you and eat off of the lust. Now you're horny all the time. Now we can destroy you. We could send men to sleep with you and take pictures of it and devalue you and lower your self-esteem and this and that. And now it's before you know it, you're escorting and you're doing this. And now you have to say things like, well, at least I'm getting paid for it. People are doing it for free. But really inside of you, you want someone to love you. You want to be in a union. You want to be in a relationship. But you now don't even think you're worthy of it. They can keep you in that place, focused on money now, focused on just money, because they can keep good people away from you by slandering you and telling them everything you've done bad and showing them everything that you've done bad. And now you're just on the strip. You're working. You're 40 years old. You're still working. Now you're old and you got to figure out what to do with yourself. And because you can't keep competing with these new girls coming in. Like, this is the kind of stuff. This is the way. And it's not just them. These are strategies used by all kinds of organizations. They all follow the same blueprints to keep us in the same place. All of them. So this is where we're at. This is where they're at. And this is where it's going. This is where it's going. Because here's one thing that's a guarantee. You don't get here without going here. See how many swords that is? That's too many swords to sleep at night. One more goddamn sword and you're on the ground. I want to show you. Do you see this guy is like literally on the ground? I was watching a reading and this lady called out what each sword was. Listen, some readers are so tapped in, they will tell you things that you will. Each sword represents a problem that is occurring right now. Multiple problems. They sent a whole bunch of entities to my house. They have a way of turning people's houses into haunted houses. They sent a whole bunch of entities to my house at one point. The entities came. They did not even spend 5 minutes. They started scattering. They ran out the windows. They left. I felt it. I know. It was overwhelming. There was a lot of them. They ran out the windows. Do you know where they had to go? A place that was low vibrational. The neighbors that were working against me, the neighbors that were on the team were in that house, were in those houses. The neighbors. They had to go somewhere where they could feed off of the energy. Each demonic entity is simply a low vibrational characteristic. There are those for lust. There are those for obesity. There are those for greed. There are those for conflict and chaos. Each one has a name. They conjure them by name and they send them into your life. You gotta be focused to see when they're coming. I have an argument with someone that's unnatural. I know that was work that was sent over. That wasn't a natural thing to happen. Now all the neighbors are dealing with the entities that were sent to me. All my neighbors are dealing with that. People don't want to live in their house anymore. People don't want to sleep with the lights on or off. People are not sleeping upstairs in their house. But what will they say? They'll say it's me. They'll say that I sent it. That's what they tell them. Because this buffoon does not want to tell people that he doesn't actually know what the hell he's doing and he's doing sloppy work, or that the work isn't working. Because if he told people the work isn't working, people would abandon ship. So he keeps people in that irresponsible situation where their lives and their livelihoods and their safety is in his hands. O ye great leader. And everything is going back in the dome, ricocheting and being dispersed amongst everybody in the team in the dome. Now, how crazy is that? Shoddy workmanship. You want to know what's even worse? Let me tell you the worst workmanship. No, there is no worse. This is a bottomless pit. Let me tell you what's really going on. You see this one up here? The one who hired him wanted my energy. Wanted to be me, because who is this person that things are not working on them? Wanted to cloak in my energy. God said, fine, no problem, you can have that. Do you know what being in that energy is like? So this is what starts happening. Now, they're letting work escape the dome. They're letting some of the work escape the dome because people have my clothes. People have my jewelry. People have my hair from coming into my home. Getting people to get the keys and come in. And coming in my home, I'm at work, they're taking my articles and they're giving it and cooking up potions so somebody could cloak in my energy. And the person who's cloaked in my energy doesn't understand that when the work hits, the work now cannot differentiate the two of us. I have my protection. They don't have protection. So if the work comes this way and it's looking, it can't find me because I'm shielded, the work's gonna go where? To Brazil. and it's gonna hit like a body shot every time because there's no protection. Boop, boop, boop. No money, boop. Bad health, boop. Cancer. Whatever work is being sent, all the swords. Every sword meant for me is getting sent to people cloaked in my energy. And it's landed. It's landed clean. No interception because nobody was even anticipating it. And what they tell them, that I did it. That I did it. So now, and I don't know this for sure, but if Brazil sent that work back to where it came from as like a return to sender, guess who it was going to hit? The spiritualist. So, work is bouncing back and forth between the two of them. It's either in the dome or back and forth. And guess who's deciding which work is going where? Guess who's deciding which work is going where? God. God. Because the way it's playing out and the way it's looking quite poetic. It's looking quite ironic, the way it's hitting. Because a spiritualist is not supposed to look the way this man is looking right now. This man is unrecognizable. Excuse me. Financially, medically, physically, emotionally, family, all the lees. All the lees are in the negative. Dead man walking, headless. Headless, walking around headless. Crazy. This is what's been going on the whole time. So when finally the police will ask, well, why wouldn't he leave you alone? Like, why are they so persistent about you? Why do they keep looking for you? It's because he's binded. He's binded to this. He can't get out. So all of a sudden, when he used to hack people and he used to put no way out, guess who has no way out now? Guess who has no way out now? Everything on the card has no way out. Everything on the card. Every character on the card has no way out. Everybody's collectively under the dome. Everybody's collectively under the dome. As a matter of fact, I changed my analogy. Things were not coming out of the dome, flying out to whoever hired. Whoever hired is also under the dome. Everything's been going ricocheting back under the dome. Some of it is strategically timed. Y'all know y'all sent stuff out that didn't hit yet. You know there's a lot of work that didn't hit yet. But it's coming. It's coming on time. This is what we call divine timing. And let me tell you, that spiritualist, he's allowed to listen to my prayers. And I think the biggest slap in the face is to see that all of this stuff that was done was not necessary. All you had to do was operate out of love and have a relationship with the Most High. And you would have had all of it too. You would have had the protection. You would have had the money. You would have had the family. You would have had the love. You would have had a good life. Not because you see someone operating out of love and they have a few blessings means that they didn't go through horrific things as well. The past year, what I've been put through has been more than horrific. The past year, what I have been put through has been horrific. It's been enough for me to turn into a tyrant. It's been enough for me to turn into a tyrant and turn evil as well. And say, oh, there's no God and things are unfair and whatever. It's about how you handle your problems, how you heal from your situations, because everything is put into your path as a blessing, an opportunity to grow closer to God. You mismanaged your trials. The trials and the problems and the hurt was mismanaged, and the opportunity to grow from it was missed. And This person stayed at the emotional age of a child. Whatever happened in childhood, that's why they keep coming up as a child all the time. As a child. All the cards always come out in reverse. It's crazy. As a child. Very childish behavior. To the last second, sitting on someone's Instagram as they scroll down, you're scrolling up. This is what you've become, what you've been reduced to. Impulsive behaviors. Not thinking to yourself. I attach myself to, okay, what's stronger than what she has? What's stronger? I'm gonna go for the king of the underworld himself. Because what's stronger than that? And never thought to yourself that you do not have the discipline to handle that. That kind of entity is beyond your rank. Didn't think about that. That was a setup. That looked like a setup to me from the time they baited you with the prayers, with listening to the prayers. They knew your jealous ass was gonna do something like that. I knew you were gonna. It was like, yeah, okay, great. This is what's coming next. I see it. Things that make you easy to control when you start asking yourself, how did I end up in this situation? Very quickly. Jealousy. As long as people know that you're jealous of them, they could dangle crap in front of you and make you kill yourself. Number one. Being money hungry. Anything where you commit, being money hungry is prostitute energy. As soon as you have prostitute energy, you're for sale. You will do anything and everything. There were more that I could think of, but those are the two that came to my mind. Gluttony. Not being able to stop yourself. Everything you see you want. Everything you have to consume. These three things on their own, when embodied in a person separately, are bad enough. You embody all seven. All seven make you easy to manipulate. And even now, to the end, in your last hours, instead of making things right, you're still gonna go at the 0.01% chance that maybe I can make this happen. It's like a 0% chance, to be honest with you. If you couldn't do it, when I was like this, what in the fuck makes you think you could do it now? What makes you think you could do it now? What? Just because you're desperate. And look at how you're doing the work. Look at how the work is being performed. Where is it? The work is being performed in this energy. Focus cannot come if it wanted to. Meditation, relaxation, prayer, nothing cannot come if it wanted to. Especially not with that strong energy moving around. That thing was strong. I'm not gonna lie to you. Whew. Strong. It's like, whew. Like that thing by itself probably could drag you across the room. You're in some terrifying circumstances. I am not gonna lie to you. Terrifying. But what it is it's a manifestation of all your actions being experienced all at once. It is all the karma that could have been paid out in increments over time like a normal person. But you gotta carry all of it all at once. What you did to people, the pain and the anguish, unspeakable. Unspeakable. This is the beginning of a nightmare. You will not get out of this. It cannot be. There is no way out. Because we're doing it God's way. God's way is not a way that can be negotiated. Apologies from people. When the karmic angels get here, when the karmic angels land, it's not about negotiations and apologies. When karmic angels get here, Like, you should see what a karmic angel looks like. They don't even smile. They're intimidating. They're scary, actually. They're scary. Good people are scared of them. People in the upright, terrified of them. These things slay demons. I don't know if the pictures confuse people of angels as like white men with wings. That's actually not what they look like. That is not what they look like. What makes people think that angels have human form? That's the first thing. What makes people think that angels have human form? Audacity. Anyway, I see you kicked the one girl who was on here off of the live because you don't want people to know that it's because of you that this is going down in the way that it's going down. But there's no way to escape it. People will know. They will know one way or the other of your incompetence, of your ego-driven war. But not to fear. You're not the first person or the last person in history who brought an entire group of people who depend on you down because of your ego. You're neither the first nor the last. You didn't want to let one go because it's like you'd be damned if it were going to be me. You'd be damned if it's somebody who believed love conquers all. You'd be damned if it would be a fairy or a mermaid or a divine feminine that would be the one that would walk away. And it's going to happen anyway. That's what's even worse. Someone by themselves in every way. You can't say nobody helped. Nobody came to my rescue. Nobody swooped in and defended the whole thing. The whole time. Anyway, I'm going to end it here. It's an hour. I don't want to go over an hour. I'm going to post this video with link to my YouTube. No, I'm going to post to my YouTube with a description. And then I'm also going to post on my stories. I think this is one of the best lives I've ever done. Very, very, very interesting. So please do take a listen. And to the one girl who just came in at the end, have a good night.